What's up guys, Eugene here. Today we're back again. In this video, we're going to be playing some Vi in the jungle. So in this match, I actually wasn't recording when I first did it, but it turned out to be a very good match. We were playing with two Grandmasters, both the Katarina and the Soraka were both Grandmaster. So this turned out to be a very good match, so I thought I'd just upload this even though I wasn't recording it at the moment. So to start off with, I actually see this Braum walking over here, and I know a lot of people, they go for this ward, so I do get some chip damage, but sadly we did not have a more punishing early game comp. If you do go for that ward, that's really risky to go for it by yourself, because if we had a better like level 1 comp, like let's say our mid was something like an Ahri and they started with Charm, then that's pretty much a free first kill there, so if you are doing that, you have to be very careful. But over here now, I see that they're actually starting to go for a fight, so I actually go over here, and the reason why I want to go for this is because I'm actually level 2 already, because I got the red buff, and I land a good first ability flash combo, and we barely get that Kaisa. So now I was thinking if that Braum left, so I just go back to farming my jungle, and at this point, my jungle rotation is kind of a little bit messed up because I rotated to this bot lane, so I decided to change it up, and I go for a one-sided jungle clear instead, where I only clear my red side, and then I go into Scuttle. But the reason I picked Vi into in this match is just because I'm going up against the Kazakhs in the jungle, and Vi works really well for me against Kazakhs in the jungle. I don't know if it's just me, but overall, I think Vi does really well, just because you could block off a lot of the burst with your second ability, plus you have good damage, and your ultimate just locks up Kazakhs pretty much no matter what. So here now, I see that they're on the Scuttle. We're a little bit late to it. I probably should have gone right to the Scuttle instead of taking the camp. But now I'm trying to get here. The Kazakhs got the smite before, but we start up this fight. We get a little bit split. I let the Kazakhs run off, and then I try and change my focus back over here. My first ability was on cooldown, so that's very unfortunate, or else I could have gotten the Braum there, but I sadly have to back off here. Vayne is kind of just weak in the early game compared to other ADCs, so that was a bit unfortunate there. It was good that Vayne got a kill early though, at the very, very start, because that makes it so they at least get some gold. So over here, I think I'm actually pinging. I want to check out that second Scuttle, because I know that we contested at that bot side Scuttle. So I know that the rotation the Kazakhs did is red, and then where they worked their way to the wolves and to the raptors and wolves and blue, and then into Scuttle. So I knew that this Scuttle was still up. And now I'm looking at the lanes. I'm looking at this Akali, and I'm seeing if I can get a good gank here. I'm not sure if they have a ward in here or not. It looks like Akali is playing very safe, so I decided that they probably do have a ward in there just because of how safe. And look at their positioning. It looks like they know exactly where I am. So I decided to just leave and go and farm with the rest of my jungle. But I want to talk about ganking that mid lane right now. Ganking an Akali is just super hard, and a mistake that a lot of people make is they just force it, and then they end up doing something careless and feeding the Akali. Just because Akali is so slippery. Because with Akali, first of all, they have that ability where they throw the shuriken in one direction and then they like flip back the other way. That's a really good escape. Plus their smoke screen is so good. So let's say I just engage there, I use my ult and everything, and then the Akali just smoke screens, or uses their smoke thing, and then you can't really get a good follow-up just because you can't target them. And that gives them a good amount of time for anybody to rotate if their jungler's around or anything. So now again, I'm looking at this and I'm like, we shouldn't take this. So talking about Vi into Kazakhs. When I say Vi is good into Kazakhs, I don't necessarily mean that you could just run up to Kazakhs and 1v1 him, because of course Kazakhs with their isolation damage is just pretty insane alone. So I don't really go for 1v1s versus Kazakhs just because that's so risky. But in teamfights, you just provide more value if you can just ult Kazakhs and lock them up your CC from your first ability. So now that drag spawned, I'm about to start heading down there. And I'm pretty sure they're on this right now, but it's kind of a hard contest, just because our mid laner wasn't there, our bot lane's kind of weak. And now our mid lane's here. Our mid lane gets a really, really good steal. That Kazakhs really screws up his smite. And now we're able to just track this down. This Akali tries to come in. And see what I mean? Like, when this Akali uses smoke screen, it's just so hard to get onto him. That's just what makes him so hard to gank. And ult too. A lot of times you'll see that I'm not going to be just ulting Akali randomly. Because if I just ult Akali, with Vi, your ultimate is just such a good knock-up just because... Here, you can see over here, I'm trying to get onto this Akali here. And if we do try and go onto him, then they just smokes, and then you gotta just dip. That's just why Akali is such a hard gank. Now we gotta back up here. But as I was saying, what was I talking about? Alright, well that dragon fight, we did a really good job there. We didn't rush it, so I knew that they were on it, but I chose not to just run in there and try and get a smite steal maybe and just die, and if I didn't get it then that'd be very unfortunate. Instead what I did was I just waited for my team to get set until we could get a good 4v4 fight, and then I went for it. Because that's a mistake a lot of people make, is in that first dragon they'll just run in there and start feeding and feeding and feeding. And that's a huge mistake that a lot of people make, because that's one of the ways that a lot of people lose matches, is they just feed so much at that first dragon fight. They go for bad fights that they don't need to. And then they fall behind in gold so much, and there's just no way back into the game from there. So we did a really good job waiting for our Katarina to get back from base, waiting for our Vayne and Soraka to get their wave pushed in. So now I see that they're on that bot side. And I have my ult back off cooldown. Oh yes, what I was talking about was ulting in Akali. You won't just see me like running in there. Actually, I might do it here. Let's see. Do I do it? Okay, I don't actually. See, okay. Yeah, what I was talking about was I don't just carelessly ult in Akali. Like, look at what I did there. I didn't just run in there, ult him right away. Instead, I just ran in there. I forced out that smoke first because with Vi's ultimate, it's such a good knock-up and such a good ability. Just because you can knock him out for such a long time, and then your teammates can follow up very well from that, and it really disrupts the enemy. But if I just ult the Akali and then they just smoke right after, my team can't follow up as well, so it takes away a lot of value from the ult. So unless you can get a very, very good ult, you will see me being very careful when ulting Akalis and other champs like that. Oh, what's going on in this mid? This Katarina and Akali are just trading out. Let's look at the scoreboard for a bit. Yeah, so Katarina got a lot of kills at that dragon pit. Oh, so again, this is what I want to talk about. I talked about this in my last video, but at those dragon fights, you want to pay attention. Ooh, this Katarina's getting collapsed on. That's very unfortunate. But as I was talking about in my last video, you really need to pay attention to which enemies you're against and which enemies are going to be there at those dragon fights, because that dragon pit is a very small enclosed area. And if you're all grouped together, some champs are just super good. So as I was saying, ulting down the Kazakhs, that really does wonders, the CC that you have for your team. Pretty much just forced the Kazakhs out of that entire thing. And now I just get out of there barely. Some champs are just better than others at that dragon fight. So champs like Wukong, Katarina, Malphite, they have huge ultimates that can hit like multiple targets at once and just delete entire teams if they're all grouped together. So that's what happened at that dragon fight. They were all grouped together over there and they didn't really spread out well. So that was a really misplayed by them on their part. But now we're gonna get a collapse here. They wasted a lot of ultimates trying to get that Vayne. I had tried to go onto him, but sadly was not able to. And yeah, we're just chasing this down now. Pretty much, they just wasted everything, and we got in a good position. Oh, where am I? Oh, I'm doing dragon. Okay, I'm doing dragon, yeah. I got low, so I just dipped out. But my team was able to clean that up. I think we I dropped Herald in mid. That was good. You see, a lot of times you can do that with Herald, actually. You can kind of use that as a distraction while your team pushes, and you can go and do that dragon or something like that. But something that I didn't do there was, I knew I got low. I was actually like, I think I was lower before even I started the dragon, but I didn't just recall right away and do nothing. Instead, what you could do is, if you know that there are going to be no enemies coming up to you, you can go down to these lanes, you can push them, or what I did was I just took the dragon. Even though I was low, I knew nobody was going to contest me because Kazakhs was occupied with that Herald in mid, and my team was pushing, so that's something I see a lot of people do is once they get low, they just instantly recall, and people are very bad at wave management in this game, I noticed. they really don't shove out waves when they have the opportunity to do so. And I think that's a really big mistake because let's say that dragon is up and this ball wave is like where it is right now. That's not a good spot because that's eventually going to be cleared or they're just going to keep on pushing down there. Whereas if we get the wave pushed up to there, then they're going to go and clear that wave and you really just have the good positioning advantage. And sorry for not watching the gameplay, but as I was saying again, I was being careful when I'm ulting the Akali, but now we're like, yeah, we got to watch this Jax. Over here, I was telling the Soraka they should stay actually because I could stop the Jax by myself. The Soraka can just stay to keep on pushing, but we're doing a very good job. And this was a good match actually. I think the Kha'Zix was actually a challenger before. I think he was a Grandmaster in this match, but he had been challenger. But really, Vi with a decent team into a Kha'Zix is really, really strong. So my team just gets super fed here. Garen gets he kind of wastes his TP there, honestly. So now what am I pinging? I want to check out their jungle. That's another important thing you could do is, if you can't push any turrets or anything, like over here, it's just hard to push. You can go and wipe out their entire jungle if there's something there, so. I have my ult back off cooldown. I'm looking to see if we can get a good engage, maybe. But again, this is a weird spot to fight in, just because they have their turret right behind them, so if we go for a bad engage, dive too deep, that can be very unfortunate. That's why you can see I'm being very, very cautious. I'm making sure I don't dive too deep. And over here, I accidentally go on the other side of that, so speaking of diving too deep, I did not mean to do that. But yeah, now we're just backing up here. This was a good call in our team. Again, I'm going to check out their jungle. Most of it is down right now, sadly, but this Vayne really overstayed. This is kind of on them. I just leave because I'm going to die too. I'm going to get my Guardian Angel popped if I stayed. So now, I do start to turn on this once the Katarina comes back. That's really good. They kept on chasing too far. They should have definitely just took that Garen kill and then just stopped there. But that was good. That was good that I didn't just try and dive in there and completely just die there, lose my Guardian Angel and everything. Instead, I knew that the Garen was dead, and instead we just put that very well. Yeah, we're pretty much just snowballing at this point. A fed Katarina is so scary in this game. Like, Katarina is just such a good champ. If you can if you're actually good at the champ. Some Katarinas are a bit iffy, but even the bad Katarinas, like if you just land one good ultimate and you get a bunch of kills and resets on your abilities, it's so, so strong. But now I'm going to push these lanes. So once you get into later stages of the game, so we got that first inhib turret. A mistake that a lot of people make, in my opinion, is they keep on pushing that same lane over and over instead of pushing these other side lanes. Because if we can get a turret on one of these other two side lanes, it just puts so much more pressure on them. They have nowhere nearly as much safety. They have like nowhere to retreat to. So that does a lot. So now we're starting up this dragon fight. We know they have to back off. We have vision of the Braum recalling, so able to just secure this. This Katarina and the Akali are going at it. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I tracked down this Jax. And I knew that Jax was alone, so. See what I'm talking about? If this turret wasn't here, actually, then this would be so much easier. We do get the kill anyways, but that was... If we can get these side turrets done. So over here, see what I was talking about, like the mistake that I think a lot of people make? We aren't really doing anything productive right now, and remember what I was talking about earlier about wave management? Like, our waves and our side waves are in such a bad spot. I don't know what... I think they're getting, like, kill happy. Thankfully, they're kind of throwing it. That could have gone very, very poorly. We got a bit lucky there. This Katarina's super fed. They could just delete anybody with their ult. But, like, we aren't really accomplishing anything here. Our side waves are just getting pushed in over and over, and... Yep, there isn't too much that we did with that. Instead, what we should have done is we should have just stuck to one side of these side lanes and just pushed that wave all the way and pushed down one turret. We probably could have done that for sure. Something along those lines. That would have been so much better to do. But now we're grouping again. If we get a good fight in, we get a couple kills, we can go for this Baron if we stay healthy enough. That's another mistake I want to talk about and see a lot is a lot of people, they'll get like a kill or something, but then they'll keep on chasing and keep on chasing. And over here, we get a couple good catch outs. I'm trying to get onto this Braum. I just ult him to get that kill. It's not a huge deal, but actually something you could do on Vi is that first time when I actually caught out the Jax around here, around their jungle. So they're out of range from an ult, but if you know you just want to ult him, you can actually use your first ability, charge it up to gap close, and then ult, and you can cover so much range with that. So now, I don't know, we're trying to push this in. We can't really end here, so I don't know why, but they're just getting kill happy, I'm pretty sure. We're getting some decent damage on the Nexus, but we aren't going to be able to end. Over there, I get a very, very good ult there. That totally saved us there. That ult plus my second skill just gave me such a good barrier. So, instead of just pushing that Nexus, we easily could have pushed this top turret here. See what I mean? Once you get your wave in a good spot, you could do a lot with that. But on the enemy team, actually, if you're going up against Katarina, a really big thing is CCing them out of their ult if you can. I like playing Wukong into Katarina a lot just because it's super easy to just dive right onto them and ult and just disrupt their ults and everything. So if you're on the enemy team, if you're like the Braum or the Jax or something, that's something you should be looking to do. On our team, we're pretty much just looking to get this Vayne to the late game because late game Vayne is insane. Plus Vayne just got a buff. This was actually before the new patch. I think it was the day before. It's like a day, yeah, it was like a day ago, so it was right before the new patch dropped. Vayne got a new buff now, which is very good. And over here, actually, no, if you look at the items, I checked to make sure Jax has teleport, so just because Jax is in the bot lane doesn't mean that it's a 5v4, because Jax will just teleport in. That's why it's important to, I think I just typed in chat there, and that's why I was standing there for a sec. That's why it's important to check the items, see what the opponents have and stuff. Or another thing is on Vi, if people are running Zhonya's or Stasis, they can actually get out of your ult that way, so that's something to keep in mind if they're a good player. They'll do that. And now I'm just peeling for my backline, helping this Vayne out. We're able to get the Jax down, and then I ult this Kha'Zix, and see what I was saying, the Stasis does wonders against Vi ult. Completely cancels that, but it doesn't matter just because I'm so far ahead, and sadly I get my Guardian Angel popped, but anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Oh wait, I did that really early. We're still ending. Alright. Well, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching. And actually this, the Soraka is actually he's like a Brawl Stars YouTuber or something. He does the Supercell games, Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, I remember. Orange Juice or something like that was his name, but yeah, this turned out to be a very good match. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see y'all in the next